properties. So we spoke about one of the really cool structures that you were able to negotiate in one of your newest deals. And we don't have to mention any specifics on where it is, but I would love to know if you could just elaborate on how you were able to get such a tax advantaged deal. This is one of the most unique things I have heard of any multifamily investment.
Well, it's like I said, Justin, my favorite day is when you can take good business practices and creativity and merge them together. And this tax advantage thing I'm going to explain to you really has a great social purpose. It's really a win-win for everyone. So it's not like it wasn't like I had to find a loophole or find something weird. But a lot of times, as you know, when the government tries to come up with a solution, particularly in this case, what I'm talking about is affordable housing. Governments try hard, as you know, they tend to overspend, their budgets go way over. And a lot of times, like if you look at pure government housing, we tend to create ghettos. You actually create a downward spiral back to, you create the wrong kind of communities. If we talk about communities and people learning, you create just the opposite. You reinforce cycles of poverty, low self-esteem. You kind of continue that. And so, I always look at how does private enterprise going to help solve this solution that maybe the government can't. It's bigger than the government. Even like now with our current our administration, there's going to be billions of dollars, and I'm happy. I think it's great. Like we need to have more affordability, but it's always going to be the entrepreneur who's going to help figure it out. So in this case, there's something really interesting, and it's in some states in America where it's basically almost a cooperation between a quasi government body and an entrepreneur. So in this case, the tax thing is essentially you work with the city. In Texas, in this case, we're working with the city of Houston. But basically, we're creating 50% of our buildings are going to have affordable housing for people in need. People who are making 60 to 80% of median family income. Your policemen, firemen, and teachers. But we're building them in better neighborhoods. And you build them in better neighborhoods, but you build them with less amenities. So no pools, no gyms. I call it the Southwest Airlines. You get the peanuts, but you don't get dinner. But you're in the better neighborhood that you can afford, with better schools, better influences around you, safer communities. And it's a way to break people into communities that maybe they wouldn't otherwise be able to afford. And so obviously it costs a lot of money in rent savings that we're doing. I mean, it could be up to $600-700 of rent savings, but these are qualified people. They do apply. They qualify through the organization, but then they're residents of ours. But then on the other side of that, we get some tax advantages for it too, and it's really a win-win because it really does help the social purpose of you don't want to gentrify all your neighborhoods in America or any of them. You really want to create these balance. You want your policemen, you want your artists, you want your cities to have these people. And how do you do it with rents just keep going up, up and up? So I really feel, and then the other trick for us is when you build these buildings and you create these kind of cooperation between where the government's cooperating in a way that my investors can make enough of a return that it makes sense for us to go ahead and give out these savings. And then we're going to own these buildings for years. This isn't like a buy and something, you own it so that you really get to do the social programs on top of it. And I think that's really how you can create some amazing solutions where you don't just ask the government, who's not responsible to a checkbook or not responsible to investors, to solve a solution. And this isn't the only solution. I say when you talk about the homeless or affordability, it's going to take, there's so much of a crisis that there's 100 ways to do it. I'm just really excited about the approach that we've been jumping into as one of the tools in the tool belt that really can make a difference in America.
Yeah. And when you explain this one out, it's great because you're helping people on every level. And then from an investor standpoint, you're coming in at such a low price when all is said and done that it would be virtually impossible for you guys to mess it up. Like there's just no way you're winning the day that you start. And I just love that is the position. When I buy real estate, my goal is to buy at such a low price that I have won day one because it's so far under market. And so in this instance, you can buy something at market value or even below market value, but because of these abatements, these tax abatements, these tax credits, these discounts, all the different ways, tax advantaged capital treatment, you are so far below where most multifamily deals begin. And I just think that that's cool. And
Thank
it's
you.
very
It's not just
creative.
the tax thing is great too, but also we're building for about 20% less. Like again, it's a thesis. And it's again almost like the crossover. I can't, there's not like 100, I can't give you a book this big of this thesis, but it just seems to me that, as you know, generally people, there's a lot of people who are looking for value. And I think there's a tremendous amount of value in kind of that approach of just amenity less, but then give people, even our market people who are coming in with no rent discount, we're gonna have, because half our building will be market, we're still gonna be $100 or $200 cheaper than our competition next door. But now, no yoga classes, but you can get those yoga classes on that $200 of savings. You can sign up to a gym for $50 a month and get those yoga classes. So it becomes almost more like a la carte, or I just want to save money but live in this neighborhood so my kids can go to these schools, or I just want to live in a better neighborhood for for my own positivity.